I swear to this does not like me today.
It happens, man. Trust me, bro.
Actually, hold on, Jack, 1 second.
No, you're good, bro. Trust me. Don't worry. I know how it is with the computer and stuff like this. It sucks. Gotta change your seating.
I might make this a little more permanent. I don't ever change it, but
Yeah. You let me know when you're ready, though. All right, Sean? I'm good whenever.
all right.
So you think the Lakers are going to win this year or what?
Yeah, we're going to win. LeBron he's determined, and when he's determined, he rarely ever loses. So the Lakers are going to win.
I think it's going to be interesting to see how the playoffs unfold and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. But you ready, my man?
Yep.
All right, let's do it. What is up, Giants fans, and welcome back to another episode of Talking Big Blue with JQ. I'm your host, Jack Quateraro, and on today's episode, I have Sean Davis joining me from the Sports Headlines podcast. Sean, how you doing, my friend?
I'm doing good. Thank you for having me. Ready to talk about how the Redskins. Oh wait, we can't call them that anymore. I'm sorry.
Dude, did you see they made a new change to their team name today?
Yeah, the Washington football team. No, I think one of our co-hosts, he was like, no, we're still called the Redskins.
Now, I don't think that name's official yet, Sean, but there's got to be some creative guy behind the scenes that could have made a better name than that. You know what I'm saying?
That's the best y'all could come up with. Oh god, that's bad news.
I know it's kind of bad, and also I saw Stephen A. Smith say they should be called the Washington Warriors, and I was like, that's a perfect name. I mean, it's not it's better than the Washington football team. I feel you know what I'm saying?
It's better than that. It's better than what they got.
Yeah, that is true. But on today's episode, we're going to be talking a lot about the NFC East and of course the New York Giants. So I just want to ask you, as as an out of town fan, what do you think about the NFC East when you look at all those four teams?
When I look at the four teams, every team in that division is really weird to me because you got the Eagles that if they had you got Carson Wentz. And the Wentz-Dak debate will probably go on forever. But the weapons that they provided Wentz with, you can see the Cowboys are making an effort to support Dak. And they've given Wentz a bag of chips, some unwrapped candy, and all that. Seriously, you got Alshon Jeffrey, who's 10 years past his prime, and a bunch of bag of chips.
Nelson Aguilar, who drops every single freaking
pass. I didn't love the Rieger pick. Now, the Cowboys, I thought, bombed the draft. They were absolutely great. But the Cowboys are screwed now because they didn't pay Dak. They're absolutely screwed. So not this year, but if the Eagles will step up, it's going to be the Giants division in a couple of years, so long Daniel Jones continues developing. Yeah, and then there's the Washington football team, and we're not going to talk about them.
Yeah, I know. I feel like they're always put at the bottom, and it's just oh, the Redskins. It's it's okay. Because they used to be good with RG3 and stuff a couple of years ago. They made a playoff run, but now they're just awful and stuff like that. But I think it's really interesting because they didn't sign Dak, so now he's on the franchise tag. So Sean, if he doesn't play well this year, are they just gonna give him the boot or something? Because I just don't know. I'm very confused to see what Dallas is up to because they paid Amari Cooper 5 years, $100 million contract. So I guess they have their priorities lined up. And dude, they killed the draft with CeeDee Lamb, bro. Landing.
They killed it.
I was like, wow. I was like, okay, CeeDee Lamb's still at the board in 17 or whatever, 15. I was like, he's either going to Dallas or Philadelphia, and he went. Mm-hmm. As soon as I saw Dallas get on the board, I was like, there's no way they pass on CeeDee.
Yes, no, and actually, if they took CeeDee Lamb. In my mind, I was telling me, okay, you guys think Dak is the guy. why did you re-sign him? And before Zeke got the contract extension, I think it was last offseason, we like talked about it. We were like, you guys got to pay Dak because like we always say, this is the NFL is no longer a running back driven league. You need a superstar quarterback, at least a franchise quarterback, to win a championship. And if Dak leaves, the Cowboys are screwed. It doesn't matter how. Look at the Panthers. That's a prime example. Christian McCaffrey's maybe the best running back in the league, unless you want to say Saquon, and they're running his career into the ground.
No, you got such a good point, Sean. I just think of it like that all the time. I mean, I know they got Teddy Bridgewater coming in now, but I feel like the rest of the team around him, like there's no receiving, like wide receivers on that team, really. You know what I'm saying? I mean, they're getting C.J. Anderson now, but if you think about it, McCaffrey's like probably getting 95% of like offensive snaps, like all season and stuff like that. And my buddies arguing with this. They're always like McCaffrey's better than Saquon. Like, you know, everyone can say what they want, but I just feel like McCaffrey's the only liable option on that team to throw the ball to. Like, yeah, I just feel like they have no other options on that team. That's just my way. But I gotta ask you, would you rather Carson Wentz, like non-injured Carson Wentz, or Dak Prescott as your quarterback?
Non-injured, I gotta take Carson Wentz. He's one of the more talented quarterbacks in terms of arm strength. He's accurate. The only way. What'd you say?
He's got a laser of an arm.
He's got a laser of an arm. I mean, the only argument you could say for Dak is that, I mean, he's a winner. Like, he has 40 and 22. The losses might be off of something ridiculous like that. And he's played every game. But counter argument that is, well, Carson hasn't played with any wide receivers. And so, yeah. So, in terms of talent, Carson wins easily. But
I think so too. I totally agree with you, Sean. I just think the talent is just so much more like higher on Carson Wentz. You know, throwing ability, just everything. Don't get me wrong. I think Dak's still a very good quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, I don't like him because I'm a New York Giants fan, and they're just playing my team twice a year, and they beat us up every year. So it's just not fun. But I respect Dak. I respect Wentz. I think Wentz is really good. Like that year when they were like 11-1, and he tore his ACL.
He was gonna win MVP that year. I think some people forget that he was winning MVP.
He was gonna win MVP, and he probably would have won a Super Bowl too. I think he would have won that year. I know Nick Foles came in and won, but I just think like they were just so hot. The Eagles as a whole, their defense was good. Their receiving core was okay, but like, dude, like their offensive line has been solid for the past 5 years. That's something the New York Giants have never had, and now like, you know, as you grow up as a fan, you start to notice more and more. It's like, wow, like our quarterback's getting so beat up. I wonder why. And then you're like, oh, like this makes sense.
That's why. Right.
The offensive line is just booty cheeks, you know? It's just, man, if I could have Jason Peters as one of my offensive linemen, forget about it.
For 1 year.
Give me 1 year. He just re-signed actually with the Eagles, so that's pretty interesting. He's an old guy too, but you know, he's a workhorse. He really is. But I just think it's going to be interesting to see like how the rookies play in the NFC East, like CeeDee Lamb, Chase Young, Andrew Thomas, Xavier McKinney. I'm blanking on who did the Eagles just draft this year. They passed on the
Jalen Reagor, which I did not like that pick.
And who they pass on before that? Mims. They passed on Denzel Mims, correct? I'm pretty sure.
I think they passed on him and Justin Jefferson because I think they drafted before the Vikings.
You know. That was like also a thing because I was watching the full draft because like, you know, I was really invested into football this year, like a lot more than years past, and I was like, why are they not drafting Justin Jefferson? I was like, he's on the board. I was like, this is your guy right here, and they drafted Reagor from TCU. He's a pretty speedster guy, but I was just like, Justin Jefferson,
which I mean, ideally is what you want with Carson Wentz, but I mean, you already have Deshaun Jackson. And so you don't need another speaker. You need somebody you can rely on out of the slot. And
Justin Jefferson was probably that guy. But we'll see how this guy does from TCU. But what do you think about all like the rookies the NFC East pulled in the draft? I think there's some pretty big names in there. What do you think about it?
Yeah, I'm not even going to talk about the Eagles, even though I think people need to calm down with the Jalen Hurts stuff. I think Hurts will be a nice pick. And that's really he'll just play the Nick Foles role. If Carson goes down, he's a winner. He'll come in and win you some games. He'll probably never be a star or even a Pro Bowler, but that's fine. Nick Foles was never a star quarterback. So that's that.
Do you think? I'm
Go ahead.
sorry, but do you think that like Dak Prescott? I'm sorry, I got it all mixed up. Do you think Carson Wentz and like Jalen Hurts could run like a two quarterback system like how Drew Brees and Taysom Hill do in New Orleans? Like, what do you think that's what like
I
the
think that
game
could
plan?
work.
Is that like what you think that why they picked Jalen Hurts?
I think so because in that way, Doug Peterson can be a little bit more creative without risking injury to Carson Wentz. So I actually think that's smart. I didn't really think about that, but that's actually kind of smart. Yeah.
Because I have some buddies at school here in college who are Eagles fans, and like we were texting about the draft because like we were texting as the draft went on. They're like, "Oh, you happy with Andrew Thomas?" I was like, "I'm thrilled with Andrew Thomas. Like that's what we needed." And
Mm-hmm.
they picked the guy from TCU, and they're kind of like, it's all right, like we need a receiver, but not the guy I wanted." And then they picked Jalen Hurts in the second round, and they were
And
all just
then they were just
they were just very confused. You know what I'm saying,
yeah.
Sean? It was just like Carson Wentz is so good, but why are we drafting the quarterback? It was like what Green Bay did. They drafted Jordan Love. Like,
Except Green Bay to me, what they did was just like plain stupid. I don't get it. Like you have
yeah.
T. Higgins, uh, I don't even want to go through the list. Like there's still a plethora of great or at least serviceable wide receivers left. You don't take one in the entire draft, and it's not even the fact they took Love. They took Love and still drafted a wide receiver. I think it wouldn't be such a big huff about it. But they didn't take one wide receiver, so that's why I think the bigger problem is.
I totally agree with you, Sean, my man. I just think it's very interesting to see what happens with Aaron Rodgers because honestly, I want him to leave. I know this is like a little off topic, but like I want him to leave. I want him to go somewhere else and like
Yeah,
I
and
you know
just
send him somewhere that not in the NFC East, of course, or the NFC in general. Send him somewhere out west, like Oakland or something. Let him play there with like Henry Ruggs and stuff. That'd be sick, I think.
yeah.
But I want to I as a Giants fan, we were like kind of like tanking for Chase Young in a sense. You probably saw that. Like, how good do you think he's really? Like, do you think he's really all that superstar? Like, do you think he's gonna pan out like that in Washington?
It in terms of talent, Chase Young should be in his prime, a top 5 edge rusher. What concerns me is that Washington's going to do something like what they did with Dwayne Haskins, because Haskins, in terms of talent, as a prospect coming out of Ohio State, he was a better prospect than Kyler Murray. It's hurt like the prototypical tall cannon of an arm. Him and Kyler Murray's arm maybe about the same, accurate down the field. Not as good as a runner as Kyler, but what did the Redskins do? There was rumors about them drafting a quarterback with number 2 pick, which is stupid. You just drafted Dwayne Haskins. So if he was in another team, I would be able to give you like a for sure yes, he'll be a top 5 edge rusher. But I'm worried Washington. They just find a way to mess stuff up. Like just be smart.
I
But
know.
I think Ron Rivera is going to do a good job with them. I'm a little more optimistic.
Here are my two takeaways from that. Ron Rivera, I was very interested in him being the Giants' like next head coach and stuff like that. And just Chase Young, I just think like he's a bull in a china shop. He'll be great. But also, I was really big on and high on Dwayne Haskins coming out of Ohio State. I know he only probably played 1 year, but dude, you saw the arm talent he has and the accuracy deep downfield. Like that's like I would watch it and I would drool over that. I'd be like, wow, like this is just like what I want. And I was like,
Right.
oh, imagine if Odell was still here. This would have been great. We get Dwayne Haskins and you got Odell running deep, and I just thought it would be a great combo.
What was it, like 40 touchdowns, 7 interceptions in like
They're
what,
like
any
50.
games?
He threw like 50, bro. It was nuts.
50 and 7. That's
But like at first, like I've said this before on the podcast, I was like at first a little upset with the Daniel Jones pick because I kind of wanted Josh Allen, the edge rusher from Kentucky, or Dwayne Haskins. But honestly, I cannot be upset with how Daniel Jones has performed after his rookie season. I just think I think he's a franchise quarterback in the making. I really do. And I think he really works hard on his craft. I've been seeing a lot of videos of him this offseason just working out, get hit in the field and stuff like that, Sean. So I think sky's the limit for Daniel Jones. And I think he'll be better than Dwayne Haskins in the long run. I mean, I hope so, It'll be interesting to see what happens for both those quarterbacks. But I like how the NFC East is like turning around now, because honestly, it's kind of been like the laughing stock the past few years. The Giants haven't won probably more than 6 games since 2016 when they made the playoffs and lost to Green Bay. because all the receivers went to Miami on the boat trip. I'll never forget that moment. I looked at my phone, I saw it on Twitter or Instagram, and I go, they're losing this weekend. I just was like, why are they in Miami when they're about to go to Green Bay? I was like, it's like 100 degrees compared to like negative 30.
Right.
Like, why are they doing this? But off topic, totally off topic. Like, how do you think the NFC East is going to shape out this year? Like, if the season happens, of course. So we got to, fingers crossed. I hope it happens.
Yeah, speaking of the season, to go off topic, we just talked about. I'm not optimistic about this season happening. First off, training camp is next week, and there's no real plan. So that's number one. Number two, if the season does happen, Cowboys are too talented to not win the division. But something's telling me they're not. So Philly, so long everybody's healthy, and then Dallas, the Giants, and the Redskins. I don't know the Giants' schedule like off the top of my head, but at their peak, I can see a 7-win season at their peak.
I'll read it to you, okay? But honestly, you think the Giants have a chance at making the playoffs this year? Like, if the season happens, because honestly, like, it's very iffy. The NFL hasn't really set up any plans for like testing or like anything. And like, hey, like this is like happening like right now. Like players are showing up for camp. Like you got to get ready for this. You got to be prepared.
Right, like training camp like starts. What's the Thursday?
Yeah,
Tuesday. It starts on Tuesday.
Pretty sure the rookies just showed up today for training camp. So I think they're all going in on like the 28th or something like that. But
yeah,
I'm just very concerned with the whole NFL because you see how the NBA, they have the bubble set up. None of the players tested positive for COVID this week, so that's a great sign. Like the NBA is doing all the right things. I love Adam Silver. I absolutely love that guy. I think he's doing.
Oh yeah, and if like for the people watching, if you guys have like listened to us, I've on record called Roger Goodell an idiot, and I've on record called, I don't even remember the guy's name, but the MLB commissioner an idiot. I've several times, like on record, you can ask Warner, our co-host, I call them idiots. Silver should just be the commissioner of all three leagues. Guaranteed we'll be in a better position than we are now.
Why not? Because I feel like Goodell, they have plans set up, Sean, but they're not like publicizing them to the public. And like this is stuff like that people want to see. It doesn't have to be like a full final plan. Just like give us a rough draft or something. But yeah. I'll read you the Giants schedule and we'll see what you think. It's honestly, personally, as a long lifetime Giants fan, this is a really hard schedule this year. Steelers week 1, then you go to the Bears, then you got the 49ers, the Rams, Dallas, Redskins, Eagles, Buccaneers, Redskins. Now listen to these last 6-7 games. You got Eagles, then you got the Bengals. Bengals should be a win. But then you have Seattle, Arizona, the Cleveland Browns, Baltimore Ravens, and then Dallas again.
I got 6.
Okay.
6 wins. I think they'll get one on the Eagles because the Eagles are going to be hurt one of those games. They could beat Dallas one of those. But I have you guys sweeping Washington and getting one over the Eagles. I think beating the Bengals, Bears, and I forget the other one. But I kind of 6.
What do you think about Arizona? The Giants lost to Arizona last year at home, and they play them again this year at home. No, you don't. Do you think DeAndre Hopkins is going to be a huge difference?
Cardinals are too talented. On both, I think we're kind of underrating how talented they are defensively as well. To go off topic, Chandler Jones, who just had like 20 sacks last year, but nobody's talking about it because the Cardinals are terrible. Isaiah Simmons, which was a steal at number 8. So
I forget about that all the time.
Hypothetically speaking, they just traded DeAndre Hopkins for a 2nd-round pick. So your top 3 picks, hypothetically or theoretically, was Isaiah Simmons at 8, which is a steal, DeAndre Hopkins, and Josh Jones, the offensive tackle from Houston. So, yeah, the Cardinals are too talented. And obviously, you have Kyler Murray on the offense side of the ball. So,
yeah, no, I think they're a great team. I love Kyler Murray too. I think he's going to be a great quarterback someday too in the NFL. I think he got screwed over in his Madden rating. I think it's funny how I know Sean, it doesn't matter at the end of the day the Madden rating, but like they gave Saquon an 89 at first, and I was like, put some respect on Saquon's name. I was like, come on, bro. But
had him below Derrick Henry because if we're being completely honest, in terms of talent, Saquon's the most talented running back, and that's why I don't have a problem if you say Christian McCaffrey, because production wise he's been the best, but talent wise Saquon's easily the best running back.
Thank you, Sean. Thank you for saying that, because I try to tell my friends all the time. They're just like, "But dude, look at McCaffrey's numbers." But I'm like, but they don't have any receivers. I know the Giants might not have the best receiving core, but they have some weapons. Like Golden Tate's always been a reliable guy for the Giants.
Mm-hmm.
Sterling Shepard, if he can stay on the field, he could be a weapon. And I think, dude, Darius Slayton, I have really high hopes for Darius Slayton, and I think he's going to be a great wide receiver in the NFL. It just depends on how the offensive line really pans out, Sean. Hopefully they do a great job, and hopefully, all these guys set in stone for the next 5-10 years. That's what I want. I mean, I live in a fantasy world, Sean, but like that's what I really want. But you saying 6 wins, I love that, because like any improvement from 4 and 5 the year before, like any improvement, Sean, I am happy with. Honestly, I would love to see double-digit wins, but I think it's, you're going to have to battle with a lot of those good teams, and you're going to have to really be a second-half team. You can't be blowing out a team in the first 2 quarters and then give up like 30 points in the second half.
Yeah. Now, a question for you. How do you like the Joe Judge head coaching signing, and what do you feel about your guys' offensive line this year?
Okay, so the signing at first, I was looking at guys like Matt Rule out of Baylor. I really liked him a lot, and I think Carolina got a steal with him. I mean, it's his first year may be rough, but I really think he's going to be a great head coach in the NFL. Ron Rivera, I looked at too. I really liked him too. And then, like, I heard them talking about Joe Judge. So at first, Sean, I was like, who is this guy? Like, special teams coach, And then they signed him, and I'm like, oh, boy, like, what did the Giants just do? But after the first press conference, I was like, whoa. I was like, this guy's like, he's a hardo. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's just, like, very serious, has, like, that New England vibe to him, like a Bill Belichick type coach. But I just got to see what he does. I love him as of right now. Don't get me wrong. I love everything he's done so far. I really think he had all hands on deck. I think it was really him doing the draft this year. So I really like it a lot, Sean. I really like everything Joe Judge has done so far, and everything that he said literally has Giant fans ready to run through like a brick wall or like a cement wall. You name it. Like, I'm ready. Like, I love Joe Judge, Sean, to the point where like I don't even know, dude. Like, I love him so much, but I just need to see it all come together on the field. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's what it's all about. If he can talk the talk and then walk the walk, like, he's the man. But like, if they struggle out of the gate, like, it's gonna be a little iffy. Like, you see how he answers the media. Sometimes he's just very like, oh, we'll answer that when we get there. Like I don't want him to be like a dick coach. And then like when they start losing games, he's like very like not talkative or anything. Cause like that's what Dave Gettleman does. He's not very talkative as a GM. So, but I love the signing of Joe Judge now. I really love everything he's done for the team so far. And just like the mentality he's bringing to the New York Giants is like literally changing the culture as we speak. So I think it's just, whatever happens, and we just got to wait until the season. But the offensive line, Sean, I love it. I love everything they've done so far because Nate Solder. You've seen, if you look back at plays from the 2019 season, he just gets blown by. Probably 10 times a game, honestly. Just gets blown by. And the worst part is he's protecting Daniel Jones' blind side. So, like, that's the side you really don't want your quarterback getting hit from, the blind side, because that's when they get hit, they fumble, and God forbid an injury or something. Just I don't like anyone getting hit from behind and in the NFL. So it's just I love what they've done. Andrew Thomas, I absolutely love him because he was the most pure left tackle in the draft. I also was a big Tristan Wirfs fan. I think the Buccaneers got a steal with him, but I have to be very happy with Andrew Thomas. Isaiah Simmons, I really did want, Sean, like down deep. It was a thought. I was like, bro, we draft Isaiah Simmons. It's going to be lit. But it wasn't really what the Giants – I know the defense needs a lot of work, but the Giants' offensive line is the biggest concern to me. I love, Will Hernandez at left guard. The center position is going to be interesting. It can either be Spencer Pulley, Nick Gates, or maybe Shane Lemieux, the kid they just got from Oregon this year in the 5th round. Or, who knows? Who knows who will fill in that role? I also like Kevin Zeitler from the Browns at right guard. He came over in the trade with Odell Beckham. So, and Jabril Peppers, that was the trade. So, I really like Zeitler, too. You'll probably get another solid 5 years out of him. Hopefully, we'll see. But right tackle is going to be interesting because I hope they move Nate Solder over there. Or they let the guy from Dallas, Cam Fleming, get a shot. I know he was more of like a role offensive lineman in Dallas, but who knows? He's a big boy. He's like 6'7", 3-something. So You want to put big boys on the offensive line, that's fine with me. Andrew Thomas is over 6'5", and then you can put him in. But then they drafted this kid in the 3rd round from UConn, Matt Parrott. But like they say he's more a man piece. He moves like a basketball player, Sean. I swear to God, like just like the way he makes it up to the second level, he just moves faster than an offensive lineman. So they say like a developmental year for him. I've been reading a lot of reports about him, but if he needs to get some playing time this year, I'm totally okay with that. But honestly, I give it a thumbs up to the offensive line now. I just got to see how they all play and stuff like that.
Yeah. I agree with the offensive line. I'm a little bit more pessimistic about Joe Judge. It's not even because of him, it's because of Belichick tree coaches don't really like Josh McDaniels when he left New England initially was terrible. We're seeing how the Lions are with Matt Patricia, and I mean that's not going too well. Now maybe Joe Judge a little bit different, and granted the situation's crazy sounds a little bit more stable, like the Lions and the Broncos back in 2008 or 9 or whatever. So yeah, so I think it's gonna be a little bit more stable, but I'm a tad bit pessimistic because the Belichickian descent coaches don't really perform that well.
See, that's where I agree with you, Sean, because it's like you've seen what McDaniel's has done outside of New England. It's not pretty. So like that's why I'm kind of like, oh, he's talking the talk right now, but I got to see what he does once it's time for the season to start. So hopefully, like, dude, this offseason's been a mess for the Giants. One with DeAndre Baker getting in trouble, and then Alex Rosas getting in trouble, getting to like that car accident. It's just like what's going on, man? Like, what are these guys doing? Like, did you hear the DeAndre Baker story?
Yeah.
About him at a cookout? Like, if you were Joe Judge, would you just cut him right away, or what would you do?
If you're really trying to establish the culture, you gotta show your players. No, we're trying to build a contender. You gotta go. I mean, hopefully another team picks you up, but you gotta go.
Yeah,
especially if you're trying to build that Belichick, and that's why Patricia hasn't worked out. He's not like if you're gonna be Belichick, like he's trying to emulate Belichick's defensive system. You gotta be serious and show that you're not about anything. Like no, yeah. I mean, so if I'm Joe Judge, you gotta let him go to show that you're the real deal and you're strict. And if you break the policies, then there's repercussions.
I agree with you, Sean. That was a great point. I agree with you so much. I just think, obviously, you give the guy a chance to see what the whole trial spiel talks about, yada, yada, yada. But, like, come on. Like, you're going to do this after your first year in the league, after you got torched by half the league. And, like, after coming out of college, you gave up 0 coverage touchdowns. So it's like, oh, Dave Gettleman made a good draft pick. This kid never gave up a coverage touchdown. Comes in the league, they play him in zone defense. He just gets burnt all the time, and he had to go up against guys like Amari Cooper, or like you name it. The guys he went up against, he just like I felt like they were just too good for him. You know what I'm saying? Not even like as a rookie, but like it just like they were just too good. Like Amari Cooper just would kill him day in and day out.
Yeah, now like if he was in like an established culture like Seattle, New Orleans, New England, Baltimore, then maybe you could get like, hey, you know, you're a second-year player, you're gonna make mistakes, you get another shot, but you're in a team that's trying to establish a culture, and that's not really anything you can afford right now.
No, you have a great point, man. It's really nothing we can afford as as Giants fans, and of course as the team. They can't afford to lose guys really, and like. Dude, like DeAndre Hopkins, I think it was like a 5th-round pick they traded him away to Arizona. It's like, imagine, like, just.
And what's crazy, our co-host, he brought up yesterday or the other day, it was like, because we did the off-season grades we're going through each division. And so when we did the Texans, he was like, the Bills got Stephon Diggs for a 1st-round pick. You guys traded the second best wide receiver in football for a 2nd-round pick and a 5th, or it might have been a 4th-round pick for next year. And
something like that.
Yeah, and Diggs, who's like 10 spots down, got traded for a 1st-round pick. So that's neither here or there. But yeah, the Texans, poor Deshaun Watson.
I know. I think Deshaun Watson's a great quarterback too. I just think his team is booty now. And honestly, it just stinks to see it because, like, dude, DeAndre Hopkins probably wanted out, but it was, like, kept, like, on the down low or on the DL. But now, like, he's on a great team now. Arizona's up and coming.
Yeah. I don't think Arizona will win the division this year, but because San Francisco, they only got maybe 2 more years. They're not built for a deep run like Seattle is and Arizona is. So after maybe this year, then I think Arizona, especially they want to contend, especially if they get another high draft pick in the first round. Arizona could easily win the division next year, I feel.
I think so too, because I think Seattle doesn't have all the pieces to put together. Like they're not the same Seattle as they used to be, and I don't think they will because of the way the defense split up after that Super Bowl loss. That was horrendous. But man, I just hope the NFL happens this year, Sean. I really do. I want to see my team. I want to see the New York Giants improve, and that's all I'm asking for. Is it too much to ask for? You think, Sean?
No, it's not. I mean, the only positive if we don't get a season is we're not gonna have to hear the announcers saying it's the Washington Football Club and the New York Giants. I don't want to hear that at all.
I think you and I, Sean, together could think of like 5 better names, and we could send them, and they still wouldn't use it. Like why like has they been waiting so long to announce the name, and this is what they come up with?
All right, like who got Ron Rivera contact information? Let me hit him up.
Yeah, no, exactly. I was like, excuse me, like this does not make sense. I was looking at it before we hopped on today on Skype, and I was like, the Washington football team. I was like, is that it? I was like, can it be any better or no? But
like the Washington, I mean, come up with something. The Washington Redheads, the Washington something.
The Washington Warriors, like Stephen A. Smith said, I'm trying to even think of names right now. It's kind of tough, honestly. Maybe we should give him more credit. Nah, that name is horrendous. That name is awful. But all right, Sean, one of the last questions I got for you is, if you had to see the NFC East in the next 5 years pan out, who is going to be the division winner each year for the next 5 years?
Okay, let me ask you a follow-up question. How long is Dak on the Cowboys?
All right, let's say after this year they sign him for like a 5-year, 4-year bonus.
Okay, if so long Dak is there, the Cowboys should, they won't because it's the Cowboys. What Stephen A. said, they're the accident waiting to happen, so they will not win the division every year. But they should win the division almost every year because there's just too much talent. Dak, Zeke, who's locked up, Cooper, who's locked up, Lamb, Gallup, DeMarcus Lawrence, he might have overpaid but locked up.
Imagine if they get Jamal Adams. There's a possibility. He wants to go to Dallas.
He wants to go to Dallas.
He wants Dallas, and I don't want it.
That's scary for any other NFC East team.
Yeah, but, me as a fan freaking out over here.
Yeah, but Dallas should win it every year. The Eagles, I think they got 2 more years, and then it's going to be the end because that offensive line is old, and they haven't really reinvested in it yet, like the Giants have started to do, like the Cowboys have continued to do for the past 8 years now, whatever when Romo was in his last few years.
I think most of their first round pick the past 7-8 years have been offensive line.
Offensive line. Until this year, maybe I forget who they drafted last year, but until this year it's been mostly offensive line. But yeah, Carson's just got to get beat up like nonstop, and it's not like he has any legitimate weapons that can help him. So Dallas should win every year. Eagles got 2 more years, and after that, it's gonna be the Giants and the Redskins to battle for second and third place.
Yeah, I agree with you. I just think Dallas is way too good not to just not to win the division every year. You know what I'm saying? It's just like your team is so put together, and you have a pretty good damn quarterback, but you guys just can't win, and it's just like why? It's just like what's going on? What's been wrong? And it's like come on. And then the Eagles, I just feel like injuries really take a toll on them every year, and I kind of feel bad because it's like they have a great team. Like obviously I'm a biased Giants fan. Like I want my team to win every year, but like I notice talent when I see it, Sean. So it's just like they have great talent. Like they should be runners up or tied for first place in the division with the Cowboys every year. But I think the Giants can be like that dark horse team in the NFC East, and I just think like. I never liked Pat Shermer to begin with. I think as what I've seen of Joe Judge so far, I think he can turn the team around.
Yeah.
But we'll see, man. But, I mean, that's all the questions I got for you, man. Do you have any questions for me before we sign out?
Super Bowl picks. Yeah.
All right. I love Patrick Mahomes. I have to put him in the Super Bowl again this year. I really do. I don't think it's going to be San Francisco. I don't think they're going to make it. I think it could be. Oh man, I think it could be Seattle again. I think Seattle could make a run back to the Super Bowl. I don't think it'll be the Rams. Like I just don't think Goff is that good. Who else am I really missing out that's really good in the NFC?
The Saints.
It could be the Saints. It could be as long as Drew Brees, plays when he doesn't, God forbid, hurt his thumb or something else again. I just think, all right. So I'll say between like the Steelers, I'm sorry, the Seahawks, the 49ers from the NFC, and then in the AFC, I got to go with the Chiefs. And I think Baltimore will be behind them. I don't think the Titans will be as good this year as they were last year. I think they just got slept on, so I think teams will figure them out. But I gotta say, at least the Chiefs. I just think the Chiefs are just too good to lose. I just really do at this point. And if anyone's gonna beat them, it's gonna be Lamar Jackson. But I don't know. I just feel like Mahomes is just Superman. What about you, Sean?
The Ravens may have the best roster in the league, but I'm not betting against Patrick Mahomes. Like there are some things you don't do in sports. You don't bet against LeBron in the Game 7, and you don't bet against the best quarterback in football, whether that was Brady at the time, A-Rod at the time, and now it's Patrick Mahomes. You don't bet against the best quarterback in the league. They may not win, but you don't bet against them. So the Chiefs. And if the Packers had another like legitimate wide receiver, I would say the Packers because they have a really deep team. But I'm gonna have to go with the give me the Saints. It's just can Breeze finally get one more and then go off in the sunset, similar to what Peyton did, except I think he'll have to do a little bit more than what Peyton did.
I think so too. I think their defense is good in New Orleans, but I think the offense needs to be a lot better. And dude, also the Ravens are in a spot too to get Jamal Adams. So like, just imagine that roster adding Jamal Adams to the safety core with him and Earl Thomas. I just think
if the Ravens got Jamal Adams, we need to cancel the season. It won't be fair. Just cancel the season. We need Roger Goodell to pull a David Stern and not allow the trade to go through. Like, no, that wouldn't even be fair.
Just imagine. I wouldn't mind Jamal Adams going to Seattle though. I think he'd be a nice fit in Seattle.
Probably nice, yeah.
That'd be nice. It's not. Sean, all I care about is as long as he doesn't go to the Cowboys. My friend. That's all I care about. But, to answer your question, I have to go Saints in Kansas City, and I think the Chiefs will win. Funny story, my buddy bet $200 on the San Francisco 49ers last year, and I told him not to. He bet the under in the Super Bowl, and I'm pretty sure like it crushed the over. I'm pretty sure, something like that. So he lost $100 there. And then he just bet $100 on the 49ers to win. I was like, and he like doesn't watch football, I feel like, as much as I do. I was like, dude, why are you betting against Patrick Mahomes? And he's like, oh, dude, they had it. They were up 10 with 7 minutes left. I was like, bro.
You don't bet against the best quarterback in football. It's just something you don't do in sports.
You don't bet against like, Mike Tyson or like, Floyd Money Mayweather to lose a fight because he's never lost a fight. So it's just like, and like you said, dude, the best part, you never bet against LeBron James in the Game 7. That you can't do that. You cannot do that. But dude, I don't even know. I'm speechless, Sean. I just hope football happens this year, man.
Yeah.
I'm at like a 40% of it really happening right now.
I'm at 25. Goodell's an idiot.
Goodell's an idiot. I mean, no offense to him. I think he could just do a better job. But Sean, man, I just want to thank you for coming on. And before you sign on anything, I want you to leave all your handles down below. So I want you to shout them out now so everyone can follow you. I've seen some of the content you make. You make some pretty cool stuff, dude. So just keep doing what you're doing, man. I really love it. So, go ahead. Just rant it out to me and all the fans, of course.
All right, so our Twitter handle is @sportsheadline8. Take out the S, the A's for Kobe, obviously. Our Instagram is @sports_headlines with the S sport. And you can watch us on YouTube and listen to us on our podcasting platforms @sportsheadlines as well. And I think that's it, unless I forgot something. But I think that's it.
Awesome. And you guys know where to follow me at Talking Big Blue on Twitter and then at Talking Big Blue _JQ on Instagram. And if you want to follow me on Twitter, it's just @Jack_Quateraro. You can figure it out from there. But Sean, I just want to say, man, thanks for coming on an episode. I really appreciate it.
Thank you for having me. Thank you for joining me as well.
No, yeah. I guess this is like a duo show. So thanks for, I guess we got to thank each other. So a little round of applause, a little round of applause. But you know, for Talking Big Blue fans, Sean and I are going to sign out. So I hope you guys are all staying safe and healthy. And we'll see you on another episode soon.